right, welcome back, True Seeker. I believe we are live, and I'm on the way home. It'll be good to see Sweet Lady, but it's sad the event's over. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was great linking up with people. It was really hard to say goodbye. Last night, The Last of Us in a Dallas parking lot. It was almost 3 in the morning, and I was like, "You guys, I really got to hit the road, man. I don't really want this to end, but I do gotta head back." And just a funny thing happened last night in that parking lot just before we said goodbye. Shout out to everybody who came out. Beautiful couple, Erica and Steve. They pounded pavement with us in Oklahoma City, and they're down in Dallas, and they joined us again yesterday in Dallas. You might have saw Steve on the megaphone, also Wesley. But I told Erica and Steve I had a book for them, and if anybody needs a book that didn't get one that came out, make sure you email me. I'll sign one and send it to you. Israel, if you're out there, I'm sorry. Told Israel I was going to give him a book and then just forgot to. I feel bad about that. But what was so weird is I forgot that when I came down here, there was a book I had that was still in the plastic wrap from being mailed several times. Eric, if you're out there, I'm sorry the book never made it, but there's a gentleman by the name of Eric, and he's in New York, and they kept sending the book back saying the address was wrong, and I kept telling him at the post office they thought his address was something slightly different, and he said, "That's not my address, don't send it there, just send it again, it'll come." So we did it 3 times. I sent the book 3 times to the man's house in New York, and every time it got sent back, so eventually I just refunded his purchase. But what was funny is I was signing the book for Erica and Steve, and I wrote them a nice little message in there. And then as I was handing it to them, the back page opened, and I could see it was signed for Eric. And it was the book that I'd sent off 3 times to Eric that never made it there. And I thought, oh shoot, how am I going to give him a book that's signed for Eric? But then it dawned on me. I thought, wait a minute. His name is Eric, her name is Erica, and he spelled it E-R-I-C. She spells her name E-R-I-C-A. So it was easy to just update the message in the back and just change it to Erica. And I mean, it was a universal message. Thanking you for being a supporter and truth seeker. But I just thought, how funny is that? I've been holding on to this book for about almost 2 years now. I tried to ship it to a man named Eric 3 times in New York. And then finally it ends up in the hands of a woman named Erica, almost the exact same name. And again, I mean, it's a weird synchronicity thing. And again, I fully believe that the book, The Celestine Prophecy, is right, that when you have synchronicities in your life, it shows you that you're on the right. It can also show you that you're doing the wrong thing. I mean, you just, you got to interpret the situation. But synchronicities can show you if you're on the right path or also on the wrong path. And I mean, usually it's pretty obvious in the way it happens. But the other thing that I was thinking that was funny about it, besides just the Eric and Erica thing, is Eric was in New York, right? Eric was in New York. And the thing that we've been talking about from this trip is we got to do this again. And, maybe even sooner than September 11th, New York. But really the thing we've been talking about and promoting as a group who was here is New York 9/11, right? We're in Oklahoma City on April 19th because at the time, before 9/11, 95, that was the worst act of terrorism in the history of the U.S. that scared a lot of people. And again, it's part of a series of ongoing agendas that, as we know, is Big Brother trying to scare the people into giving up their rights and liberties in the surveillance state we now live in. But yeah, of course, September 11th was Oklahoma City times 10, and it came about 6 years later. But yeah, I just find it so funny that I couldn't get the book to Eric. So I just held on to it, and then I never shipped that book off really to anyone because it had a message for Eric in there. And then I accidentally essentially was giving it to Erica and Steve, and then noticed at the end that, oh my God, this is the book for Eric. But then I thought, man, what are the odds of this? I mean, I just reached in the box. It was the one that was right there on that side. And, it's just, life is funny. Life is funny. It's like, I mean, it's hard to even explain it, but it's like, that somehow, some way, there's like a purpose to everything. I can't exactly explain why Eric never got his book that he should have got, unless Eric was just consistently wrong about his mailing address, because the post office swore it was another address, and we never got it tried out because Eric said, "Do not put that address on there. That's not my address." But yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. Life is a funny thing, and yeah. Also, I just want to let you guys know that all is well. People are worried about me taking off from Dallas at like 3. What time was it that we left? 3 in the morning. Whatever time it was. But yeah, I'm okay. And I just got to the point where it says I have less than 24 hours to get home, so I'm well on the way. And again, when I get back, all of you guys have been so generous with the super chats. I'll go through all those and read them. And yeah, a lot of really good things did come out of this trip. A lot of that's what I realized. I mean, if I could do that circle around the country, which I'd love to do, it really does help people network, find out who's in their community. Again, freetofindtruth.com, you guys. It can be achieved there as well. But yeah, just being there and allowing people to come and meet up and see who's in their city. I mean, a lot of numbers and names got exchanged, and hopefully some pounding pavement groups have been established in Oklahoma City and Dallas, and some new friendships made. But what in the world? What in the world, man? This guy getting wild with it. Why? I don't understand the move this truck driver just did on me. Maybe he's tired. But yeah, anyway, all's well. It was a great trip. The worst part of it's probably the long drive. I mean, it is a long drive down here from where I'm coming, but that not being allowed in the museum, which it turns out in hindsight, if I didn't say so already, it might have been a blessing to not get allowed in the museum, because I heard it's pretty dark and demented in there. They lock you in a room and make you hear a loud explosion that simulates how long it lasted, but yeah. Anyway, this trip, so many good things came out of it. So many, I believe, new friendships made. And again, there was a spark that should inspire the next gathering to be even bigger and even better. And that is the one trick. When you have a large group of people, it makes it a little bit challenging to facilitate, like, when people get hungry, what do? Where's a restaurant where 40 people can fit in there and hang out together? And again, shout out to Sean, who came down from Tennessee. He was really good at helping with the flow of the group, finding the next restaurant. And he was a true asset. And all along the way, he was just, he was making people's day. Yesterday, he was mixing up healthy energy drinks, teaching people some good nutrition tricks, and he's a beacon of health. So anyhow, again, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who came out. And again, if you guys are on the road, drive safe. And if you can, New York, September 11th. I know a lot of you guys are already leaving comments like, what if they're requiring vaccinations? What if, I mean, let's hope that's not the case. If they're requiring vaccines to be in New York City on September 11th, I mean, obviously that's going to put a damper in it. I don't know what would happen if we all showed up unvaccinated, if they'd mass quarantine us all or whatnot. If enough people showed up, they wouldn't be able to do anything about it, I suppose. But yeah, let's just not think like that's going to happen. Again, it'll still be summertime, so I'm guessing if we're getting close to those types of things happening, it'll happen in the fall after September 11th. But really, if you'd like to participate in the next gathering, be part of the next big event, New York 9/11. Jeremy White came out yesterday and said, man, we should try to do one of these a month. And I'm all for it. I think that's a great idea to get Sweet Lady on board really to do it once a month. But what we have to research is, you know, what's the right place if we wanted to make a schedule for big gatherings once a month. What's the right state? What's the right anniversary? Because I mean, those are the types of things that bring people out and make things more interesting. If you just watched when I was in Oklahoma City, I mean, most of the days I was there wasn't much going on. But the day of the anniversary of the bombing, you know, you had notable people coming out in the community. We were able to try and engage with the general manager of the Oklahoma City Thunder before the police swept him off. We got to talk to a prominent leader in the journalism community for the state, the head of the journalism department at University of Oklahoma, and he was a great listener. And turns out he was one of the founding members of CNN, which now it's like no wonder if you saw us at University of Oklahoma on their journalism building, they have the CNN ticker. Well, go figure. The head of the department is one of the, you know, the early founders of the news network, he said in 1980. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing about doing things on big anniversaries. The media's out, people are out, the kind of people that you want to engage with to try and create the bigger sparks that need to happen. So in the comments to this video, if you guys can think of, like, you know, if just in a month, you know, it doesn't matter what month it is, you know, January, February, any of the months, if you can think about like what big anniversaries are in that month that, like, for example, LA January 26th, right? That's become a thing in recent years because of Kobe Bryant's death. So LA January 26th could be a great event. There's other days too. I mean, in LA, a lot of things happen there, right? March 3rd, teach about the Rodney King beating, the race war, from that to George Floyd, to the latest subway shooting. Somebody had the most brilliant observation about the Sunday shooting. I totally get the joke now, and I know they're 1,000% correct. So, did I say Sunday? I meant to say Subway. The subway shooting of April 12th, remember, that's the anniversary of the start of the Civil War, right? April 12th, 1861, that's when the Civil War began. 102nd day of the year, as we know, slavery is 102, so was that not so nice N-word. They blame it on a black man. Well, think about, you know, the Civil War and slavery and the Underground Railroad, right? Subway, Underground, rail line, railroad, Underground Railroad tribute. All the cameras just happen to be out. You know what I mean? Everything they do is so symbolic and a tribute to history. And again, if you use your mind, you can connect the dots. If you have the Gematria, you can take it to the next level. I mean, the truth is, if you look at like the scams, if you will, that are pulled off on us through history, I mean, most of them you can see through with Gematria, right? But Gematria is just like the thing that enhances the riddle. Without Gematria, you go, look at it, come on, man. A subway shooting blamed on a black man on the anniversary of the start of the Civil War. A subway, Underground Railroad. Think about it. I mean, the cameras are out, so you can't even really see what happened. The story doesn't really make any sense. But then it's like, and then plus, when you know Gematria, slavery equals 102. It was the 102nd day of the year. You know. And then the other thing, I mean, when you know Gematria, you can point out the other thing. That the shooter's name equals 181, which is the 42nd prime. Slavery also equals 42, as does the N-word. And it wasn't that long ago in New York earlier this year, you had it blamed on a black man at the 42nd Street subway station. Supposedly, a black man pushed an Asian woman in front of a train and killed her, right? That was the story. And her name was Michelle Go, which equaled 181, 42nd prime at the 42nd Street station. And then they had her memorial on January 18th, 18/1. So again, 2 subway things this year in New York, both blamed on black men in the time of this new black mayor, right? Eric Adams, who comes over from the police. Then we know how they coded police all over the ritual. Remember, in addition to what we're saying about the subway, Underground Railroad, you know, slavery, Civil War tribute. The other thing was, it happened 33 weeks after the governor became the governor. Not Eric Adams, but what's her name? Kathleen Hochul or whatever it is. 33 weeks after she became governor on the nose, 33 shots fired. It was 137 days before her upcoming birthday, the 33rd prime. We know government and authority are 137. We know masonry, secrecy, order, federal, police are all 33. Again, 33 shots fired out of a Glock 17. Masonry 33, Masons 17. Jesuits and Masons all day. And I mean, could it be any more obvious after going to Oklahoma City? You got the Catholic Church across the street, and then the Masonic Temple on the backside, and then, you know, just AT&T overlooking, only to find out that just down the road is where AT&T's headquartered out of Dallas, and the AT&T building's overlooking the JFK assassination site, which is on, it said right there on the plaque, Dealey Plaza is where the first Masonic lodge was in the city of Dallas. So again, where JFK's assassinated, also a Masonic hotspot, and we know the whole ritual's, you know, totally Jesuit and Catholic, synced up with the Pope. Again, the connection between Masonry and the Jesuits, modern Freemasonry, a creation of the Jesuit order in the banking district of London, June 24th, 1717. And again, it's just so easy to understand why they come together. The Catholic Church usually got all the best buildings in town, the most impressive structures, the greatest architecture. Masons, builders, Jesuits, Catholic Church. So, anyhow, we're making the trek through Texas. It's a big old state. And yeah, I just want to say thank you again to everybody who came out. I look forward to the next one. It's funny how many people came out that said they never leave a comment. You know, they don't participate in the live chat, but they follow the work. And, you know, for all those people, thank you. But just for the record, if you do leave a comment occasionally, it does help out with the algorithm, and it helps the video reach more people. But, yeah, it was just interesting how many people follow the work that, you know, you don't even know who are out there until you meet them. And, again, if you saw the community we had, they come from all walks of life, very diverse group. And we modeled a lot of wonderful things. And for the big censorship police who are watching right now, if you guys could please put up the Oklahoma City video, it would be greatly appreciated. It's a true tragedy that was taken down, because that video was, you know, it was amazing for all kinds of reasons. That's why they had to take it down. Also, this week's upcoming TFR show, you know, next Wednesday, be back on TFR. Mark Emery, the filmmaker, he wants to do the show. I'm not sure if he's going to be ready this Wednesday, but we'll have him on as a guest to share more information. But this immediate Wednesday coming up, the next TFR episode, for all of you who are out there who came out, I would love if you guys called into that show, if you can, if it works with your schedule, and promote the work and the platforms, you know, you're putting out your content on, because there were a lot of other content creators who are coming out who, you know, just like all of us who are doing good things, aren't getting, you know, the views or the recognition that we should for our work. But I would love if this upcoming Wednesday show is full of the content creators who came out. And again, it could just be a a wealth of knowledge and a good episode for people to go back to again hear all the names and the channels, and find out all the other people they should be following in the community. So, and I know a lot of you are asking me to text and call you. I'll do that when I get back, you guys. I'll get caught up on the calls. Like, shout out to RPM Trey Vietnam. I know he wants me to contact him. Him and I are going to collaborate. Very well spoken man. He's got a great message. Another inspirational person. But I will be in contact when I get back. It's just I don't like to talk on the phone while I'm driving, and I definitely don't like to text. And right now I'm just mostly focused on getting home so I can have a good night's sleep in my own bed. But yeah, I will be in contact. I'm not ignoring you guys. Hey Chris, shout out to Chris. I saw that you sent me a text message and you said, hey, can you mail me the green folder I accidentally left in your car? I see the green folder. I will absolutely mail it to you, no problem. So if I see a post office on the way, I'll do it even before I get back. But if not, I'll just mail it as soon as I get back. I should be back into town tomorrow. I'm going to try to drive the rest of the way straight through. So, yeah. I think that's all for now, Truth Seeker. I just want to check in and let everybody know again it was a great trip. And for people who are worried about me leaving last night in the middle of the night to head back home, all is well. And, yeah, I would like to stop in another city on the way back, but I do got to get back. Sweet Lady's got graduation this weekend, so can't be late for that. Just thinking if there's any other memos I got to put out there before I call it a day. Yeah, again, just to reiterate the point, if you can think of like great anniversary days for months that would be logical meetup days in the U.S., because I was imagining if we could establish the tradition, it could become, an annual thing, and hopefully it gets bigger and bigger year after year, and hopefully at some point it would grow exponentially. But just, getting people to come out and wake up to what was done to their city and for what purpose and by who. Like Dallas, where we just were. I mean, I imagine gathering in Dallas on November 22nd, that could be even more effective, because I'm sure all sorts of people come out on that day. I'm sure, the news is out, a big crowd to engage with the news, create a spark for all the TV watching people. But I'm pretty sure that there's got to be at least one day in each month that resonates with a certain place in the U.S. in terms of the things that have happened in history. Beginning of the Declaration of Independence. So, that's from the beginning of July until the beginning of August, really, for Philadelphia. But yeah, that could absolutely make sense. All right, we got disconnected, but we're reconnected. All right, we got disconnected, but we're reconnected. And off, I appreciate it. I'll probably do a few more live streams on the way back too. Again, I got a lot of driving, and if you could load the bid shoot, I have a feeling somebody out there got at least part of that stream. But yeah, I'd be super grateful if somebody uploaded, if you did screen capture it, if you uploaded it somewhere. BitChute's probably the ideal place to do it. If you've never uploaded to BitChute before, sometimes it can be a little bit annoying. It does seem that their platform's getting better as time goes on, but sometimes I have to upload something a number of times before it finally goes through. And if it is a longer video, like that stream must have got cut off around the 4-hour mark. But if you do upload something to BitChute, patient. If it doesn't, that's got to be back up. That experience and all that was shown in that, it needs to be out there for 1,000 different reasons. So. And if you guys are wondering why my voice sounds, it was 4:20 yesterday, and again, the truth seekers like to smoke, so there was a lot of puff, pass going on. So I got a little bit of a parched throat going on. We were smoking until the middle of the night in the parking lot, and I wanted to say goodbye. So, and Daria, if you're out there, I think Daria was hanging around while we were smoking, and I passed her the old doobie. And I think Daria, just to be social, she took a puff on the doobie. Sorry, Daria, if I peer pressured you into smoking. I didn't mean to. I apologize. But I noticed when she smoked, she went to go chill out and take a seat. A part of me laughed because I'm like, oh, I might have peer pressured somebody into smoking that's not used to smoking. But Daria, apologies if that's what happened. I will definitely make it up to you. And it was a real pleasure to meet Daria and everyone else. And Daria, beautiful lady, made the long trek from northern Utah. It's a long drive too. I want to say it's like at least 15 hours. I'll be excited when I get to that point because it's like the midway point for me. But yeah, I mean, that's a serious effort to drive that far by yourself, to get to, gather with people you never really met before. But I do believe, like all of us, she enjoyed the experience very much. So, and like always, almost any time I do a decode, Daria's got one of the top comments. She made more great contributions while she was here in real time. So it was amazing it was truly amazing how many amazing finds were made just here in the flesh, gathering with people. I really didn't think we could take some of the riddles any further than we already had, and then maybe the best finds yet on those came in. So that's why I always say there's always more. And when you learn this information, you should look at it through your own lens, through your own set of information, and you can very possibly build on it, And again, there's a part of me that's super disappointed that I'm not done with the book yet. But at the same time, because of this trip, the book's going to get a little bit better and a tiny bit longer too. But I will be announcing the finish very soon when I get back, and it'll definitely be well out and ready before September 11th rolls around. And like I was saying, Etsy's in New York, who does the publishing for it. Again, self-published through Etsy out of New York. So that means I can order a bunch of books and not have to worry about the shipping, because that's the expensive part, having them shipped out to me. But instead just pick them up in New York, and we can be pounding payment there on 9/11. Everybody can have like a box of books, and just help get out the word. I mean, we know New York's a busy city, a lot of people to engage with, and if we can give people a quick snippet of the knowledge, and then give them a book to help seal the deal, again, we can create that massive spark. And also, again, for the man in New York, I'll email you when I get back, and make sure you really do want to do the billboard space. If you really do want to do that, I think I know what I would like to go on the billboard. So, but again, I really do generally worry for the man who wants to put the billboard up for the work in Times Square. Because honestly, I mean, you think about it, if I have a billboard up in Times Square for my work, that's obviously going to be the biggest ever promotion of what I'm doing. You can't censor a billboard in Times Square. There's a lot of people there. There's a lot of eyes on that place. There's a lot of people recording Times Square. It's going on their social media. It's going on their camera. It's going on, it's going all over the place. So we know that there's people in the world who do not want this community to be successful. They don't want this knowledge out there. And, we just saw real clear what happened in Oklahoma City. So I would feel terrible if, for that person doing that, I mean, honestly, it's a super generous thing. God knows what it costs to rent a billboard from that man. It's got to be pretty expensive to advertise there. It's prime real estate. So, I mean, I know that'd be a big financial contribution for him to give up that essentially that revenue stream to just let me have my content there as well, which I'd be super grateful for. It's just I don't want him to be doing something so generous and then, something really bad comes back on him too. I think we've all experienced it many times. You do something really nice for somebody, and then it seems like the world punishes you, and you're like, what is that about? That's the weird synchronicity, and it's like, sometimes I just think that's the universe or the creator testing you, see if he can break you. And you're not supposed to be broken. You're supposed to keep doing nice things. Some things can't be explained in this world. They're so weird, but yeah, I think that's all for now. I think we'll keep this stream relatively short and sweet. If you missed yesterday's, if you didn't get a notification, we did stream for about 4 hours in Dallas yesterday at Dealey Plaza. Another awesome event. I'm super glad I took the extra day to do that. I'd be a lot closer to home right now if I didn't, but it was majorly worth it. And in hindsight, if I could do it all over again, the one thing I would have done different is, instead of spending so many days in Oklahoma City, I probably should have swept through more of Texas. I probably should have maybe even gone to Houston, Austin, Dallas, and then made my way up into Oklahoma City. But live and learn, right? So live and learn. I had Sweet Lady come. Sweet, women's intuition is very good too. Women are very good at planning and organizing, and I mean some men are as well, but oftentimes that's where women can be very helpful. So maybe once Sweet Lady graduates, I can convince her to start helping me out more with the work and traveling with me. That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. Hey, if more people pledged $1 a month, I could tell Sweet Lady, like, we don't even need you to work. Just come help me out, and we'll do this full time. Trust me, it'll be good for both of us. It'll be good for the world. So, if she saw more people pledging $1 a month, she'd probably be more open to that. And again, for all the people out there who do pledge the $1 a month, thank you so much. You made this trip possible. You make Free to Find Truth possible. And you allowed the work to go on. If you guys forget the story, I mean, Sweet Lady wanted me to quit August 21st, 18. And sadly, I was on the verge of quitting that day because, the feds were out here and then just getting hassled by the feds, and the work was super censored and nobody was supporting the ebook at the time. But then people stepped up and they pledged that $1, and that there's been funds ever since. And it has grown, but it's definitely plateaued, and I think that's due to the censorship. But yeah. Anyway, thank you again to everyone who supports in all the ways you do. If you're a young person you can't support because you don't have a way to support, I mean, your guys' support is just watching the video, liking the video, sharing it. But if you are somebody out there who could afford $1 a month and you haven't, I mean, really, you could be making all the difference. I have a feeling that there's a lot of people in this community who they justify not pitching in because they think, it's just me, it's just one more dollar. And I just saw that super chat. Thank you. That's very generous. $20 right there. I mean, if you think about that, that person just pledged $20. That's 20 months of, really all they needed to do. I mean, if you pledge $1 a month, that breaks down over 20 months. That's nearly 2 years. And again, guys, I mean, it is a real thing. That there should be 1 million people in this world, at least. There should be more than 1 million. I mean, the work I'm doing is for all of us. It goes beyond the United States of America. It's like the work we're doing is to wake people up to the truly evil agendas that are making this world worse and worse for everyone. And, just to make a point, if we allow the world to continue to get worse, and by the way, I'm not saying had everyone pledged $1, we would have fixed the world. But had more people pledged $1, we would have a lot more resources. We would have a team and network of people that could do this full time. We could have little GematriaEffectNews bureaus in major cities. We could hire talented people to do this full time. And again, with that kind of effort, the word would be getting out more and more. And that's where we are in the game, you guys. Until we wake up more people to what's going on. You got people in La La Land just not seeing the forest for the trees, and that's a major problem. We have to wake these people up. We have to get them out of their coma, their zombie-like state. And we have to continue to do that. I mean, just until... Again, just think about it this way. For all of us who are here, who are awake and get it, we're not getting played by the agendas. We're not doing the things and participating in the agendas that allow them to happen. My man Randy in Spokane always says, if no one follows the rules, there are no rulers. And we do have rulers. They're the ones setting all the rules that really don't make any sense, that really don't benefit us at all. But again, turn us into an experiment, cause us to lose our job, cause us to lose our friends and family, cause us to lose our hair, go gray earlier, fear, anxiety, social distancing, all this crap, man. Gas prices through the roof. I mean, that's the thing too, you guys. Because we're not stopping the cabal, they're just making things more difficult in every way, more expensive in every way. So, to me, it's like $1 a month. You're investing in a movement that could potentially, save you in more ways than can possibly be counted. And again, $1 a month really isn't a lot. And I don't know, for all the people who don't pledge $1 because you don't know what you're trying to do, I also don't know what to say to you. I mean, what more can a man do besides work every single day, nonstop, and just, I guess I could do better. But yeah, again, I work hard to try to inspire others to become part of this community and contribute whatever way possible. And again, at the end of the day, financial contribution is not the only thing. If you don't want to financially contribute, the other thing you can do is, again, essentially become your own Gematria Effect news bureau and just share information, share knowledge. And ultimately, just imagine if there was 1 million people in the world a day. Let's say instead of pledging $1, there's 1 million people in the world a day teaching information, speaking out, reaching. Just imagine 1 million people a day. Each day they reach one person. Each day those 1 million people reach each one of them. So that each day that group of 1 million is reaching another 1 million people. Think about how many days it'd be before you reached, all the people of the world. I mean, it actually wouldn't take that long. So that's my other message for all the people who came out, who had something brilliant to share but aren't putting out any content yet. Alex, for example. I keep going to Alex because Alex was the best with 30-second and 1-minute sound bites. And Alex, by the way, TikTok might be your platform because TikTok's 1-minute videos, Alex kept just saying things that were so brilliant in a minute or less, and just things that are undeniable. They weren't gematria, but just observations about the world, the things right in front of us. Just, he has a great mind. And there's a lot of Latin phrases in this society, and he understands them very well and explains them in layman's terms. And, Alex, if you're out there, I know I said it to you several times in person, I'm saying it again. We need the Alex channel. So, gotta be careful going to these towns. Speed limit just dropped, and the sheriff's sitting right there. Looks like he's sitting there good. Man, Texas, man. I don't know if it's just the wrong day, but God, Texas on the 21st of April. The cops are everywhere today. On the way down here, I didn't see that many cops, but man, I've seen a lot of cops patrolling. So, you know what I haven't seen on the whole trip? I don't want to jinx it. I haven't seen one car accident. I haven't passed a single car accident all the way down here. Driving around, I haven't seen a single car accident. So, that is good news. Hopefully we keep it that way. Even as crazy as they drive in Denver, I didn't see a car accident. I saw a bunch of almost car accidents, it seemed like, but nobody wrecked, so. Yeah, I'll come back on stream later. But I only have so much to say right now. I'm already so redundant as it is, so. I saw somebody just made a donation on PayPal. Thank you very much. I appreciate that too. Yeah, maybe just one more thought before I close off, and I think I already said it, not in this stream, but I might have said it yesterday when I was streaming between Oklahoma City and Dallas. It's just, you see, I mean, frustrated exact same response, and they're stereotypical. We're called a conspiracy theorist or some other derogatory name, or we get the glazed over eyes, or the total disinterest, or the Why should I care about that? I mean, it seems like close to 90% of people that you'll engage with, it's likely that they'll have that kind of response. And we ask ourselves, like, how can it be that so many people are just the exact same way? And again, as you just drive through the nation, it just, I mean, it just makes it clear. As you drive past, like, literally every exit, it's the exact same restaurants. Everyone's eating the exact same food from these same mega corporations. That, again, if you guys have never read the book Fast Food Nation by Eric Schlosser, he's got another, God, what's his other book? Is it Prison Nation? Or he's got another really good book. He might even have more books than that, but Fast Food Nation, that book, he gets into so many things, but he talks about how much money those companies spend to make food taste good and addictive. But I mean, how non-nutritional it is. And so again, you just got this society that's eating these foods that allow them to perform at a low level, essentially. If you drive your car and put in the highest octane fuel, which most of us don't do, but I mean, if you ever do put a higher octane fuel in your car, you just feel how much more responsive it is, how much smoother it feels. I mean, there really is a difference between 87 and Supreme. I drive around on 87 because, I drive a Toyota and it's made to work just fine on 87. But you put in that Supreme, if you ever pay the extra for it, just the gas pedal more responsive. You just feel the smoothness, just, it's better. You put in a higher performance oil, engine runs longer, harder. And again, it's the same thing with food and nutrition, right? You feed the body, everything's working on a higher level. But you just drive through this nation, it's the same restaurants over and over, and the same restaurants that are serving people food that might taste good and it's addictive and they enjoy it and they have a craving for it, but it's ultimately, keeping the body running at a low state. And you guys, when I was driving through Wyoming and Colorado, I was like, I've never seen this 85 octane before. And you guys are saying, well, they only sell 85 octane in states that are higher elevation, because if you put 85 octane in your car at a lower level, the engine can be destroyed. And that might really be the analogy then. We're all putting 85 octane in our bodies, eating this junk food, and we really are destroying the body. But yeah, you drive through the nation, it's the same restaurants, it's the same stores, it's the same corporations that pretty much own the whole thing. And then, again, you look into who owns the textbooks in our 13 years of school. It's the same corporations that essentially own those textbooks and choose what information's in there. And then it's those same corporations that pretty much own our government. So we hear the same jibber jabber, out of the politicians' mouths. Of course, there's the left-right divide, and people get caught up in that. And, like a lot of people right now are convinced that gas prices are super high because of Joe Biden. But, that's just the show. That's the show. The real reason they're up is because of Agenda 21 and 2030. And Trump, he did his part with the pandemic. That fit in with the Agenda 21, 2030 goals. Biden comes in, he does his part. Doing things that create the excuses for why energy prices are through the roof. But that's also why the system's set up the way it is. So every 4 years you can throw out the last guy, and then that scapegoat's gone. But anyway, the same small group of things control almost all the things that are feeding our body, whether it's the actual food in our mouth or the information in our mind. And it's obvious. It's obvious that what they've done is why so many people are so systematic. They go to school, they learn the same things, they eat the same things. It's just sameness, right? It's truly like a form of oneness, but an evil form of oneness. They want everybody operating on that same low frequency, that same low vibration, So we gotta, ultimately, I guess the point is, we gotta figure out how to help all these people who are trapped in this break out of it. And I'm gonna look into establishing a trust where, like, really everybody who participates in the trust has equal ownership. But I really do think, as a community, if we could raise $1 million, and agree as the community who raised the funds on where to set up a sustainable community, meaning we grow our own food. It's not super affordable. It's not super expensive, right? Once we essentially acquire the land, the asset, that there's not a whole lot of upkeep. It's just mostly physical labor, maintaining the property, maintaining the land, maintaining the food source. The debate right now for where we could do this is it smarter to go to Mexico, or is it better to stay in the U.S.? The two beautiful sisters who came out yesterday, technically it was a mother and a sister, but they both look very young, and they're both full of energy and wisdom, and just very beautiful women. But the mother of the two sisters, if you will, she really thought Hawaii was a good spot on the Big Island because it's affordable there. My concern about Hawaii is the powers that shouldn't be look at that island as a military asset, and if chaos broke out and they really do have plans for World War III, I just worry that could be. It's hard. You don't want to live in fear and not make the right choice because you're afraid something bad's going to happen there. But sadly, we do live in this world where crazy shit could happen. So that's my drawback on Hawaii, is just if things popped off, though that's looked at as a major military asset, and you could end up in harm's way there. If you're in Mexico, same thing. If World War III comes to the Americas, Mexico, they need that land because that's where all the food's grown. It's so important to control food production. That's like basics 101 of a civilization. So Mexico, that's prime real estate. And I do believe the same woman who recommended Hawaii, she also, I do believe it was her who brought up Arkansas, and I've heard of Arkansas before too, because Arkansas, the southern part of that state, has the longest growing season of the year. That whole region does too. But that part of the country, you can grow food for the majority of the year. You really can grow all year round because there are winter crops. But the point is, you can have a lot of food productivity. And the other thing about that part of the country is it's inexpensive. So, if you brought $1 million together in a trust, imagine, 100 people who pitch in 10,000, right? 100 people pitching in 10,000 is $1 million. So if we got, theoretically, we could get 100 acres of land, and it might already have some good property on it, But if we had 100 acres, it's a lot of land. You can grow a lot of food on 100 acres. It's way more. If you have 100 people on 100 acres, that means each person has their own acre, really. But you could set up living spaces, and there are affordable living options. That they make modest living structures. If you're in a warmer environment, it's easier to live in these modest structures. But it really could be done, and I think it needs to be done, you guys. We know bad things are coming. Patience is a virtue, but I do worry that maybe we're too patient, and next thing that World Health Organization documents fully drafted, and next thing you know, all the things that kind of were. Remember, at the beginning of the pandemic, we saw these audio clips and sound bites from people in high places saying, like, I think we need to quarantine. We need to quarantine all the unvaccinated. We need to quarantine all the people who test positive for COVID. You heard these ideas out there, and it didn't happen. Well, some parts of the world, similar things kind of did happen, I guess. It didn't happen here in the U.S. though yet. But it doesn't mean in the next phase of the agenda, which might not be too far away, it's not like that. And imagine if it does become that way. Imagine it becomes that way, you're taken out of your property, you're taken by the state to some quarantine facility, and you can't leave the facility until you submit. You know what I mean? Things like this have happened in the past. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And I mean, ultimately, I don't live in fear, but if I do have a fear inside me, that's one of the biggest ones right now. What if that happens sooner than later? That's the last thing I would ever want to happen to me or anyone I know. And for the person out there going, well, what if we had a Truth Seekerville and they came in there and did the same thing to us? I mean, it's possible. But if we did have a community and we had a means to protect ourselves, hey, for example, if that community looks like the gentleman who showed up from Iowa, there was somebody in the group who was scared at first when the two guys from Iowa came. They weren't sure, like, if they were government infiltrators and like going to cause chaos. But again, the two men from Iowa who came out, they were strapped. They had the vests on. They had the clips. They had the pistol on the hip. They were ready to go, man. If somebody was going to violate their constitutional rights, they were going to be met with the lead shower, And honestly, you got a community like that that's also armed like that and willing to protect itself. That is a deterrent, Of course, if they deploy the military on us, we're probably going to lose the battle, unfortunately. But also, as just I say all these possibilities, you can't let the things that could go wrong and the fears hold you back from doing what you need to do. Ultimately, if you were in a community, say in Arkansas, if you're in a community in Arkansas, 100 people, common purpose, taking care of each other, taking care of the food, the resource, and protecting the community, you got a lot better odds in that scenario than, you're in a neighborhood and Big Brother's coming down the street with the National Guard and whoever else they deployed going door to door, making the pickups, which, could be me and Sweet Lady, you know what I mean? So the time is now. September 11th, try to create a big spark, try to wake people up. The other way we can save ourselves is, again, if we get people to understand, if no one follows the rules, there's no rulers. And for people to understand why that's important, because if people realize that we're ruled over by evil people who really don't care about us, which is a fact, then maybe they'll be more motivated to break the rules that they should be breaking. So, all right, left you with some things to think about there. Again, thank you to everyone who liked the stream, who participated, who shared it, and thank you to everyone who was with us in spirit for this past week. It was definitely a great week, and time flies, man. Time flies. I wish I could do it all over again, but well, we will. At least on September 11th, maybe sooner. And I still, hey, before I go, can somebody do me a favor? Can somebody look up real quick? I'm going to try to pay attention to the chat. Can somebody look up if it's true that there's supposed to be a massive rally at the Facebook campus on either May 7th or May 8th coming up? Can somebody look if that's true? Here, I'm going to chill and just try to look at the chat right now. If somebody can look that up for me, is it true? Because I keep forgetting to look it up. Is it true that there's supposed to be a massive rally at Facebook to go against the censorship? If that's true, I'm going to talk to Sweet Lady when I get back and see if I can get permission to go down there for that, because I feel like that needs to happen. So I'm gonna, that might be the next gathering. Somebody said it was last year on that date. Maybe they're doing it again. That was last year, huh? Huh. We really do need to do that. We need to be doing that like literally every day. comments. I saw somebody said it. There might, right? That's that big Ignatius of Loyola getting shot by the kid. Because that actually might work better if that's true for a little bit before hitting the road again. Sweet lady would probably be more on board with that anyway. And then I also saw somebody's comment about, what about Vegas, October 1st? Yeah, that. We're having some connectivity issues, but I was just saying that, yeah, I did see the comment about October 1st, Las Vegas would be a great meetup date, and I agree, because that was a huge event. The Mandalay Bay casino shooting, Jason Aldean concert, another 201 ritual to educate about. So yeah, I like that. October 1st, Vegas. If we have some big momentum, September 11th in New York, that could transition right into October 1st, Vegas. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to end the stream, you guys, but please, in the comments, and remember, before you paste something on YouTube, I always recommend you copy your comment before you paste it, because so often it'll delete it. But if you can think of a good date in a good location for once a month for an anniversary, like October 1st Vegas, a September 11th New York, what we just did in Oklahoma City, an 11/22 in Dallas, you know, we got to think about the other months. There's been things that have happened. January 26th, Kobe Bryant, LA. What's our date in February? What do we want to do for February? I'm sure there's plenty of options if you really think about it. Do we do Newtown, Connecticut? Or is that too? Maybe we go to Yale. Maybe we go to Yale Skull and Bones on the anniversary of the Connecticut shooting. That seems like a worthy. It's a private school, so they'd keep us off the school. But I feel like an educational event at Yale is much deserved. You know, it could be a December 14th. Remember this year, Ray Allen, who went to Connecticut, got passed an all-time 3-point shots made, and the 201 points scored was born on the 201st day of the year. It's just funny how they just do stuff, you know, over and over. Connecticut, Sandy Hook, NBA, you know, just the way they sync up everything. COVID, NBA, I mean, you know how they do it. But, and by the way, hey, the man who gave me this hat, you know what was messed up last night? I'll tell you one more thing before I sign off. Last night was just so weird. It was so weird. So some of the people in the group were vegan, and so we found a restaurant in Dallas that was vegan, and we were going there, and right as we got to the restaurant, they had to shut down because reportedly the chef cut his finger really bad. We heard he chopped it off. I hope that's not true, man. I hope it was just a bad cut, but we heard he chopped off his finger at the restaurant right as we were getting there. So then they shut down the restaurant. So then we were trying to find another place to eat. So we went over to the place that was supposed to be open, but they were closed for whatever reason. And then we tried to go over to another place, and then they were closed for whatever reason. We were having the most difficult time, and we had a kind of a... Oh, we disconnected one more time, but I was just saying, last night we were having all to find a restaurant, and people were getting hungry. I mean, it was taking a long time. But a gentleman came out to Dallas, and he gave me this hat. If you guys don't understand this hat, this is what you see when they delete your channel. And he's had his YouTube channel deleted a bunch of times, and he's like, based on how much you've had your channel deleted, I got to make this hat for you. People need to know what this symbol is. It's the symbol of injustice from Google. And it's true. This is what you see when they delete your channel. This is the graphic they send you. So last night, he got so hungry, he just jumped into a pizza shop to grab a slice of pizza, and because there were so many of us, it was hard to make sure the whole group was there. And then he was like, hey, why'd you guys leave me behind? But for that man out there, I'm sorry, man. We didn't mean to leave you behind. But it was great to meet you, and please do send me that email. He's making, you know, truth-related merchandise, and he's just having trouble getting traction. I'd like to promote his stuff. This hat that he made is a high-quality hat. And he's got other designs, but he thought this one was just right for me based on how many times I've been deleted. So I'll definitely start wearing this like my Truth Matters hat when I make my YouTube videos, just to make a point, you know? So, but yeah, just weird last night how all that happened. It's like, what are we doing? Are we All right, Truth Seeker, we're in some part of Texas where the reception's not as good. I keep getting disconnected. And like I keep saying, I'm going to end the stream. But I'm sure I'll start streaming again when I think about something. Maybe on the way home. I'll start up. I think the next stream I'm going to do is just like a beginner Gematria lesson for people who might have maybe found the channel on the trip. So I won't do it right. All right, we really are, but I was saying thank you to the super chatters. I do appreciate it. I will come back. I'm going to do a Gematria 101 live stream. All right, we're having a lot of trouble staying connected right now. But again, for people who are starting their YouTube channels or Instagram or Facebook or wherever you're going to post, Twitter, all the different Rumble, all these new programs, Telegram, wherever you're going to start your content, if that's you, please, post it on Free to Find Truth. Please post it in my comments. And please, this coming Wednesday, next TFR episode, I'd like all the callers. For this next coming Wednesday's TFR, I would love for the majority of the callers to be the people who came out and are going to be starting their own, truth operation, if you will, because I want to get all that promoted. I want to help you guys build up and have successful channels. And again, there were a number of people who said that they're inspired and they're going to start something because they got something to share too, as do all of us. But again, thank you to everyone. Appreciate you guys' super chats. That gas money is very helpful. I don't want to leave Texas. The gas prices are so much better. But anyway, we're out of here for now, Truth Seeker. Have a great rest of your day. Again, all of you on the road, drive safe. Really appreciate the effort. And thank you for helping create the spark that we need. It's only going to get bigger from here. So, until next time, Truth Seeker.